Chapter 3 The Making of Me. As a teenager, my world was small and tightly contained. I wasn't allowed to join extracurricular activities, go out with friends, or experience the freedoms most kids take for granted. At the time, it felt suffocating. Looking back now, I see it differently. My grandparents were not trying to punish me, they were trying to protect me. I missed dances, proms, and school events until my senior year, and when I finally did attend, it was miserable. Crowds drained me, and they still do. I've always been sensitive to energy, able to read people and notice details others overlook. The awareness was born out of childhood trauma, but it wasn't a curse. It became quite a strength. It shaped me into who I am. Once I had a friend write a detention slip so I could sneak into a football game after school. It was fun for a moment, but the guilt followed me home. I couldn't live with a lie. I told my grandmother the truth and was paddled for it. Oddly enough, the punishment brought relief. My conscience was clear again. That moment said a lot about who I was becoming, someone who valued honesty even when it hurt. Everything began to shift when I enrolled in technology school for cosmetology. I loved it deeply from the very first day. I couldn't get enough of learning how to do hair. Looking back now, I can see God working behind the scenes long before I truly knew Him. He gave me that gift. I never missed a single day of cosmetology school. The first year, I was painfully shy and quiet, but the classroom became the doorway to my confidence. My final year, I had completed all my hours early, passed my tests, and became licensed before I even graduated high school. I was 17 and ready to work, ready to leave behind the butcher shops, janitor's work, and the shoveling the pig manure. I was breaking the first generational curse, not just working to survive, but building a career. Graduation should have been a celebration, but it came with a deep ache. No one showed up except my boyfriend's mom. My own mother wasn't there. It hurt more than I can put into words. But by then I was used to disappointment from her. The last time she showed up for me was when I was 13, leaving pads in a mailbox. That was the last time I ever asked her for anything. After graduation, my mother suddenly reappeared in my brother's lives and mine, wanting to take us back. I was 17, nearly grown. She and my stepdad had moved into a one-bedroom apartment, and instead of finding space for us, they placed us in another apartment down the hall. When I turned 18, something in me shifted. I stopped protecting everyone else. I stopped parenting when I was never meant to be a parent. Leaving my brother still weighs on my heart all these years later, but I know I had no other choice. I was starting my life, and I did break that curse. I had a career from the time I was 18 until now, and I'm 49 years old. After moving out, I lived briefly with my boyfriend's parents. Not long after that, I became pregnant with my first daughter. By 19, I had my own place. Life hit hard and fast. I was pregnant, scared, and overwhelmed. But for the first time, I felt safe. I mowed the lawn, shoveled snow, took out the trash, and handled everything myself. I didn't have to make myself small anymore. I was finally allowed to bloom into a young woman I've always been meant to be. I got my first real job at Holiday Hair right before I turned 18, doing what I loved. That job gave me independence. Still, I carried shame for being young, unmarried, and pregnant. At that time, I cared deeply about what the world thought of me. I knew God, but I didn't yet have a close relationship with Him. That would come later. My daughter's father struggled. He didn't want to work. He wanted to stay 19 forever. I was supporting not only myself, and then when the baby came, the baby too, but then him as well. One night I came home from work to find the baby crying while he slept in a recliner with a beer on the floor. Something snapped. I slapped him across the face and told him to get out of my house and never come back. And he didn't, until he did. That's later chapters to come. When my mother found out I had a baby, she resurfaced again. I let her back into my life. I tried. I still haven't fully forgiven her for leaving us at our grandparents' house, even though I now understand that it was the very place God needed me to be. God doesn't always put us where we want to be, but He always puts us where we need to be. I know that now. I didn't know it then. That chapter of my life carried me to the edge of my 20s, worn, wiser, and standing on my own 2 feet. What came next would shape me even more, and that is in another chapter.